Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Selling Greenville, your favorite real estate podcast here in Greenville, South Carolina. I am your host, Stan McCune. I'm a realtor right here in Greenville, South Carolina. And if you have any real estate needs, you can find all of my contact information in the show notes. I help people buy houses. I help people sell houses. I do a little bit of everything when it comes to real estate. I give a lot of free advice in this business as well. Feel free to reach out to me however it's most convenient for you. And if you like the show, please go ahead and subscribe, give us a rating, give us a review, download our episodes. All of these things help the algorithm and Apple and on whatever platform that you use to get it out there to more people. And if you're just listening to this on Apple, but that's not your preferred means of listening to a podcast, go ahead and search Selling Greenville in whatever podcast platform you're using. And if it's not on there, let me know, because I want to make sure that we're on all the platforms that we can be. And it's usually pretty simple to get it on a different platform. I just need to know what podcast app you guys are using. Today, we are going to be talking about underrated traits of Greenville and the upstate of South Carolina. Underrated traits. We hear all the time the things that people love about Greenville and about the upstate. But what are some of the underrated traits? Some of the things that people don't think about and don't talk about as much, but that end up really having an important impact on the experience of living around here. This is something that I started thinking about a few weeks ago when I took my family down to Orlando. We spent a few days down there, took a little vacation. And we were down there, and the water in Orlando, at least in the places that we were, it was really bad. If it wasn't filtered and whatnot, just having the normal tap water, it tasted gross when it went down into the drain. And again, this is in multiple places, so I don't think that this was just an anomaly, just in our hotel. It was in multiple places that we went to. When it would go down into the drain, a smell would come up that just didn't smell good. And it just wasn't a pleasant experience to drink the drinking water. And my wife mentioned, wow, I'm really grateful that Greenville has some really great drinking water. And it has been ranked. I've seen these rankings. I didn't look this up for this show, but I've seen it in the past that Greenville is considered to have some of the best drinking water in all of the U.S. by various metrics. And that includes Simpsonville. That's the upstate as a whole. That includes Simpsonville, Greer, I think even out towards Spartanburg and whatnot. The drinking water around here tastes really good. It just tastes the way water is supposed to taste. And you don't think about that until you go to a place that has really bad water. And I think that that's a really underrated trait, but that impacts everything. When you're brushing your teeth, for instance, having that water that gives you a bad aftertaste. When you just want a quick drink, you don't want to have to go, get your water from your refrigerator that's filtering it. Here in Greenville, you can get water from whatever source, from whatever faucet you want. It's going to taste good. It's going to taste good unless you have something wrong with your plumbing or whatever the case may be. And that's something that we probably don't talk about enough. That's an underrated trait for the upstate of South Carolina. Here's another one for you. How about diversity of political viewpoints? People automatically assume that Greenville is extremely conservative, and in a lot of ways it is. But we have a decent bit of diversity when it comes to political viewpoints in our local government around here. Now, people, the elections that are happening right now, people will vote pretty heavy Republican, but you might not realize that the Greenville City Council is a majority Democrat council right now. I'm not exactly sure if that will stay the same indefinitely, but for a little while it has been a majority Democrat, while county council has been a majority Republican. And so we have a diversity of viewpoints. People don't care as much about the party affiliation as you might think. There has been kind of sentiment that, hey, if you get stuff done, if you show yourself to be a genuine person who cares about the people. The party doesn't matter as much as maybe it used to in the past. Things are shifting around here so that it's more about what are you doing? How can you help me? How can you help our area? And let's be less focused on the party affiliation. I think that that's a really strong point of the area, that we're not just overwhelmed and dominated by just, okay, if you run for one party or you run for the other party, then that automatically seals your fate. It really doesn't around here, and that's a strength of the area. Another thing, and this might not be, I considered cutting this one. This might not be an underrated trait because it is starting to get more and more on people's radar. But I'll mention it anyway. It's our accessibility to great hiking. Greenville is, we have some decent hiking areas, within a 30 to 45 minute drive, pretty much anywhere in Greenville. But once you get an hour and a half away, then you start to really get some fantastic, unbelievable hiking. We have a lot of just gorgeous areas that aren't that far away. And Greenville is not in the mountains, which is a good thing, in a lot of ways. That makes it simple for us to get around. When you're up there in the mountains, it can be difficult to get from one place to the other. So we have all the advantages of not being in the mountains that come, with us kind of being in the foothills and beyond, which are mostly accessibility to places and having plenty of shopping areas. But at the same time, we're not very far away at all from some really fantastic hiking locations. And you can just do some quick Googling and find a gazillion great hikes that are nearby. There are a lot of great camping spots as well. And that's something that I know a lot of people that do a lot of camping around here. I did some camping earlier this year that was very close to Greenville, but it fell off the grid. And it's really not that hard to find these types of places around here. And I think having lived here for as long as I have now, I take that for granted. And it's starting to become on more and more people's maps as they, consider some of the areas like Asheville and Gatlinburg and whatnot to be the heavy hiking areas. But you can live in Greenville, have a lot of great advantages to living in Greenville, and still be very close to some of those great hiking areas as well. Here's another one. Everyone always talks about Greenville's downtown, and for good reason. Downtown Greenville is beautiful. What they have done the past 20 years of completely renovating that area and completely changing it from, a part of Greenville County that you would never want to be seen at night to now it's an area that is a tourist attraction. And it's really beautiful, and it's really fun to just walk around and to patronize the different little shops and whatnot, great restaurants. But we have a variety of downtown experiences, and this is something that I think is underrated, is that downtown Greenville has kind of spilled over into some of the other local downtowns. So recently, because last year I moved to Greer with COVID and whatnot, we didn't really get a ton of opportunities to explore downtown Greer, but recently downtown Greer has been putting on Friday nights what they call Dine on Trade, where they close off the main little strip on Trade Street and do, have live music and outdoor food vendors and whatnot. We've been making an effort to explore more of downtown Greer, it's very small. It's a lot smaller than downtown Greenville, but it has a different little vibe to it, even more of that small town vibe, almost like a cobblestone type of street experience, a lot of small little shops and galleries, and some really great restaurants. You'd be amazed. I've had some friends that have told me for years that there's great eating in downtown Greer, and there really is. But then you also get some of these other areas. Now, downtown Travelers Rest, that has its own little vibe of an outdoorsy, they've been heavily impacted by the Swamp Rabbit Trail that cuts straight through there. an outdoorsy craft beer, different mom and pop type of stores and restaurants. Downtown Travelers Rest has its own type of vibe. And now we're starting to see even downtown Simpsonville, downtown Fountain Inn. All these areas are starting to really become revitalized and using a similar map that downtown Greenville used, but taking it in a slightly different direction, in their own little direction, so that it doesn't feel just like downtown Greenville. And so you can get a variety of downtown experiences depending on what you want. If you want, to go biking and to grab a beer, go up to Travelers Rest. If you want a really nice restaurant, really nice dining experience, but for it not to be as crazy as Greenville, go to downtown Greer. If you want a place that has, a little splash pad for the kids and whatnot, you can go to downtown Fountain Inn. There's a whole lot of different little areas now that have been being worked on for a long time, and we're starting to see the fruits of all of that. And so you don't need to feel like downtown Greenville is the only place to go where there are things happening. There are things happening all over the Upstate and a lot of different places to have a neat little downtown experience outside of Greenville itself. Here's another one. Variety of grocery stores. We have an awful wide variety of grocery stores around here, given the population of Greenville County. You wouldn't normally have this type of variety. So we have some of the staples, right? The Publixes of the world, obviously. Publix is everywhere around here. Bilo has been around here for a long time. I think that I think that they sold out to Food Lions. So I don't know if we're going to start seeing some Food Lions pop up. But those are kind of like the staples. You see them everywhere. You see Walmart everywhere. But we have a lot more than that now. I really love Lowe's Foods. And Lowe's Foods is really cool. They have really a lot of craft type of things. They even brew their own beer. You can grab a beer and drink it as you're walking around the grocery store. But they have really good baked goods. I believe a really top-notch butcher and just all sorts of interesting things and places where you can go and sit down and eat and just kind of hang out and get on their Wi-Fi. I've met with people there. Just a really great grocery store experience in a variety of different ways. We have a Harris Teeter that is near downtown. A lot of people love that place. Of course, we've had Trader Joe's for a while. And then in more recent years, we've gotten some of these German places like Aldi and Lidl. And it's really incredible just how inexpensive Aldi and Lidl are. And yet the quality is still very good. I mean, it's similar in some ways to Trader Joe's, where it's a smaller type of grocery store experience. But just extremely reasonable. And we had some German friends that used to live here, and they swore by Lidl. And I didn't believe them how good it was until I went into one. It was like, wow, this is actually a really great grocery store. They have everything that you need, but it's just a lot smaller. Of course, we have Fresh Market, which has been here, for forever, and a variety of little ethnic grocery stores as well. We have little Asian supermarkets and a lot of Latino ones as well. And I believe that Earth Fare is that there is still an Earth Fare somewhere. I believe one of them went out of business. I think that we still have an Earth Fare. The long story short is that there are all sorts of grocery stores that are in the area, and that's kind of a big deal, right? Because when you want to get something, maybe you are skewed in one food direction, or you have some kind of health issues that mean that you have to get a certain type of foods, or maybe you have a certain price point that you're looking for, whatever the case may be. Everything is available. We have every possible grocery store experience imaginable for this population of an area, and I think we're really blessed to have that. And this is honestly my last one. This is going to be a quick little episode here. But one thing that I just actually saw today, and this wasn't originally on my list, but I saw this today and I was like, you know what, that's kind of an underrated trait for sure, is that the city of Greenville recently ranked among the top 10 cities in the nation for worker confidence, according to a LinkedIn survey. And I found this very interesting. So LinkedIn did this survey where they're trying to rank worker confidence, and it was led by Colorado Springs, Provo, Utah, Tampa, Florida, and Greenville, along with a few other cities in the Southeast, Memphis, Jacksonville, Atlanta. Greenville was right there at the top of the list, one of the top 10 in worker confidence. And that's for sure an underrated trait, right? If you have worker confidence that helps the economy, that helps people sleep better at night, that helps the mental health of the area, and the confidence is in the area, like that is an inherent confidence that impacts everything, because people believe that Greenville is going in the right direction, that our economy is going in the right direction. And I found that really fascinating, that it was in the top 10 according to the survey that LinkedIn did. It's not every day that a small economy like ours makes a list like that. But that's where we are, and that's what we're seeing. And so Greenville and the Upstate, we have a ton of really great traits that everyone is talking about, but we have a lot of underrated traits as well, things that impact us in ways that we don't necessarily think about on a day-to-day, but that are really impactful in the long run. And so just more reasons why we love Greenville, why if you're not living in Greenville, you need to come here. You need to at least experience what's going on. But maybe some people that are outside of the state need to come here and actually move here and actually experience a lower cost of living, a little slower pace of life, but all the amenities that you can imagine, or I should say most of them that you would imagine of a major city, as well as all these underrated things as well. That's it for today. Quick one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, my contact information is in the show notes. Rate, review, subscribe, download the episodes. Let me know if you have any feedback. And stay sane with the elections. Stay safe. Don't let them get to your head. Everything's going to be okay. Maybe we'll talk about a breakdown of the results of that a little bit later. We'll see. But until next time, I hope you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of the week.